let's talk about this, right? Because this is interesting. And you know what? To be honest, I love this. I love this, love this, love this. Because whenever we're doubted, that's when we play our best football and we, play the best, period. So, Colin Cowherds gave his top 10 teams after free agency. And surprisingly enough, he doesn't list us in the top 10 teams. And the reason why is that because he doesn't know what to expect from Joe Burrow or what Joe Burrow is going to look like, in his words. And I love it. I can't stress that enough. I love it when people doubt us. It's a beautiful thing because what we do is we deliver. We deliver in a lot of different ways. So I'm going to react to this today because I want to see, compare it now to obviously in the future, how things are going to change and be different. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this up like this because I have to block half the screen for copyright purposes, but let's get right into this.
Calling my shot, Minnesota Vikings. Just go look at their coach and their offense.
Okay. Again, I understand the reason why he's not having us top 10 is because the fact that we don't have, he doesn't know what to expect from Joe Burrow. But come on now. Minnesota Vikings. They don't have a quarterback. Justin Jefferson isn't confirmed to be on the roster for the foreseeable future. You don't know what's going to happen with Justin Jefferson. I don't know. I don't know if I would start off with the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Minnesota Vikings are in a little bit of a mini rebuild. And I think they could be great in the future. But for right now, I don't know if I agree. They're number 10, my man. Come on.
Offensive weapons. Number 1 receiver, number 2 receiver, tight end, running back, left tackle, O-line, top 12. I think Kevin O'Connell, the tall Sean McVay, is the best coach in the league that nobody talks about. I like them. They save money getting off Kirk Cousins, coming off the surgery. They bolstered their pass rush with those savings. They did like the Houston Texans did last year. They quietly made their defense better with a lot of B to B plus moves. Vikings at 10. No.
Yeah, but for the Houston Texans, at least they had a top 5 pick. The Vikings are coming in at what, pick 11? So they're going to have a lot of the good quarterbacks off the board before they even pick. I don't know if I agree with that one. That's a toughie.
Number 9.
The Rams. I don't know how you replace Aaron Donald. If Aaron's coming back, I probably have them at 5 or 6 because I love their young players. They did bolster their interior O-line, and they bolstered their back-end defense, and I think...
I'll say with the Rams, because I think they are a really great team, and I think if they would have beat the Lions last year in the playoffs, they could have went to the Super Bowl. So I agree that I think they're a great team. But what I will say about the Rams, and the only downside, is they will only go as far as Matthew Stafford's health would take them. And I know last year, they were still pretty decent, even when Matthew Stafford wasn't healthy. But I think that's really what it comes down to. It's Puka Nacua. He stays healthy. Obviously, he will. But Cooper Kupp, if he can stay healthy, which we have seen in the past, it's not always the case. And then, Aaron Donald, that's going to be a huge loss for their defense. I don't think people realize how much the Rams defense is going to kind of, take a back seat here. And depending on when they take it in the first round will help them. But I don't know if people realize how bad that Aaron Donald loss is going to hurt them. But again, like I say, it really comes down to Matthew Stafford. He's healthy. Cooper Kupp's healthy. Yeah, no, they are a dangerous team.
I think Stafford and McVay, outside of Reed and Mahomes, you're talking offensive coach and quarterback. Stafford, McVay may be number 2 in the league, but I don't know if you can replace Aaron Donald. He is...
Wasn't like the whole thing last season where McVay was going to retire and Stafford was going to retire? Wasn't that like a whole thing or something? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say McVay is a bad coach. He's a great coach. But I'm pretty sure there was like this whole narrative that McVay was going to retire and leave. And now it's like, oh, no, McVay, best player in the league. Best coach in the league. Okay, interesting.
Is the first, second, or third best defensive player I've ever seen. He had a better pass rush rate last year being double-teamed than everybody else had single-team. That's how good he was.
Number 8.
The Buffalo Bills.
You lost me. You lost me. You know what, Colin? you lost me like the Bills lost every single player in free agency. Did they lose 6 starters in free agency? And they replaced Gabe Davis, who they lost the receiving position, with Gabe Davis. Oh, my bad. His name's Curtis Samuel. Which is pretty much Gabe Davis. They're the same receiver. It's not. There's no difference. Gabe Davis and Curtis Samuel is Gabe Davis. That's all it is. If you add Curtis Samuel to Gabe Davis, you get Gabe Davis. But other than that, I mean, they lost to Davius White. They lost Jordan Poyer. They lost to Mitch Morris. Like, they lost a lot of pieces. And I'm not saying they're not going to be a good team. They're going to be a good team, right? Obviously, they will be. But still, though, I don't know. Oh, man. The Bills, I think the Bills are going to take a back seat here.
Really pulling back. Now, they were better. Joe Brady took over as the OC, and they went 6-1 after Brady replaced Ken Dorsey. But too many losses for me. White, the cornerback, Leonard Floyd, Gabe Davis, Mitch Morse, and leaders on the back end defensively. So I don't think they'll be bad. Josh Allen will guarantee you win games. But I said your window to beat the Chiefs may have been this year. You got them at home. Kansas City was young.
Hey, man, I think what they need to do is just all get together and talk about teamwork. You know, they need to get together, talk about teamwork, talk about how different groups in history has used teamwork to their advantage and used teamwork to be successful. And I think that's what really their head coach needs to come down and talk to the team about. And I think that's going to be great, you know. It's going to be very great. They should all go to 7-11 afterwards.
Didn't have a defined number 1 receiver. I think Buffalo has hit their ceiling. They'll be...
Oh, yeah, side note here. I just kind of forgot about it. And then Stephon Diggs might leave town. Stephon Diggs is like posting, I'm up for anything. It is what it is. He's waving goodbye. Like, bro, what? How are the Bills number 7 or number 8? They had the Bills over us. You guys really think that Joe's not going to come back healthy? I feel so bad for you. I really feel so bad for you, man.
Good, not special going forward.
Number 7.
Cleveland. Listen, the Deshaun...
I quit. I quit. I quit. I quit. I can't even get through this video. How? How? Cleveland, I think they're a great team, right? Sean Watson, great quarterback. Joe Flacco was a great quarterback. Nick Chubb, arguably the best running back in the league. Jerry Jeudy, really great young receiver. Amari Cooper. Elijah Moore, I think, is underrated as heck. David Njoku really didn't show up until Joe Flacco started quarterback. The offensive line is great. They have a great defense, right? And they have Jim Schwartz. That's the most important thing, is they have a Super Bowl winning defense coordinator. But still, I'm not really against Cleveland being this high. I think Cleveland should be in the top 10, but I think they should be number 9. I think we should be above Cleveland, but I think Cleveland should be in the top 10.
Watson contract has some limitations. You know, I kind of feel like they are what they are. They could maybe win a weaker division, but I don't think they'll be as good as Baltimore. I don't think they'll be, you know, I think because I don't know what Joe Burrow is going to look like, I'm going to put him in at number 7. I do think defensively, especially at home last year, they were special. They've added now Jerry Jeudy.
This is the whole point of this thing. He doesn't know what Joe would look like, so that's why we're not top 10. All right. You guys asked for it.
The wide receiver along with Cooper, and I love Stefanski, so I'll put him at 7, but a bit of a mystery.
Number 6.
The Ravens, again, a slight pullback. They've lost multiple offensive linemen and Patrick Queen, the linebacker. They'll be good. They got Derrick Henry. But again, the offensive line for Lamar Jackson, the run game is so crucial. They're very well run, so I don't think there'll be a huge drop-off. But multiple offensive linemen gone, your young athletic linebacker gone. I think they're...
I don't think Patrick Queen's that much of a loss. They also lost Tyrese Bowser. I know he's probably not going to bring that up. They did just sign a new offensive lineman. Josh Jones, I want to say. They signed a new offensive lineman named Josh Jones. Stanley, them re-signing, so restructuring Stanley's contract, I think was a waste. They should have got rid of Stanley. I don't think he's good at all. Losing Josh Simpson definitely is going to hurt them. Losing, what's his name? Cleveland is definitely going to hurt. Was it Cleveland? Yeah, Ben Cleveland. Ben Cleveland. It's definitely going to hurt them. They traded away Morgan Moses, so they got rid of him. They kind of canned him. But with the upcoming draft being so good for offensive linemen, I really don't think they're going to miss much. I think Derrick Henry was a great signing. I definitely think it was. And I think they have a great receiving core, right? So it's really going to come down to, on the offense, how far can Lamar Jackson take them? And how clutch can he be? On their defense, I don't think losing Patrick Queen is a nothing burger, okay? Roquan Smith led that defense. He controlled that defense. He did everything for that defense. So losing Patrick Queen, they're going to just replace him and they'll be fine. They also drafted a guy last year in the 4th round named Robinson, who is going to be that filling guy for Patrick Queen. Or they could use Trenton Simpson. So there's always options there, right? And their secondary, I think, is their major concern. And I think that's something that Colin's not going to allude to here. But their secondary is the biggest problem. And I don't think it's going to be the offensive line. I think the biggest problem is going to be the fact that Marlon Humphrey has injury concerns. Every year it seems like he's injured. They've lost Ronald Darby. They lost Rock Yen-Sin. They lost, I believe they brought back Arthur Moats. And they also still have Brandon Stevens, who Brandon Stevens played pretty good last year. But other than that, I mean, Marcus Williams, I don't really think he's that great. I think Kyle Hamilton, obviously one of the best in the league. But that's really the biggest problem, in my opinion, is going to be that secondary. Now, they did re-sign and brought back, in the end, Justin Matabuke. And then, obviously, the rest of the defense line is just kind of there. They have a decent defensive line. But I think their biggest problem is their secondary. And I think they could definitely address in this upcoming draft. It's going to help them out a lot. But I don't think their offensive line is going to be that much of a problem, in all honesty.
Good, I don't know. After that playoff performance, I don't know with these losses how great they are. I know they'll be good.
Number 5.
I don't know what to do with the Philadelphia Eagles, but new information, new opinion. I love the Saquon Barkley move. I think he's arguably the first or second back in the league to Christian McCaffrey. I don't know, like Aaron Donald, I don't know what you do when you lose Jason Kelsey. The offensive line will not be as good, although it's good at the tackle spots. They've got 2 star receivers, always good at tight end. Now a star running back. I like Jalen Hurts to rebound. They have 2 new coordinators.
I mean, I think the Eagles, they're a weird team because last season, you know, they looked so good and then they fell apart and they kind of fell off the face of the earth. And I get it, you know, sometimes that happens in seasons. You know, you start off really good, you run out of gas, and then next thing you know, you fall apart in the end. I will say that I think they still have a very easy, I think the NFC in general is very easy for a lot of teams. And I think that they had a really easy schedule last year. I'm not easy schedule, because they did come off a Super Bowl loss. But, yeah, I think they're kind of in that gray area. But again, how are they in that gray area, yet they're going to be ranked above us? I think if you put us as number 5, I think that'd be very logical.
You know, if you'd asked me 3 months ago, I don't know how I feel, but I love their young talent. I really do. I think they're really special. I think Jordan Love's last 8-9 games, go watch him. I thought he was spectacular. Matt LaFleur finally now, he's got his team. Aaron Rodgers' contract off the books. They have 11 picks, the most picks in the entire draft. So, and they have a history.
I think when it comes to the Packers, right, and I think the Packers are going to be good this year, but the Packers are really taking advantage of a poor NFC North. The Vikings last year were not a great team. The Bears last year sucked. Lions were the best team, obviously, but they took advantage of a very weak schedule, and they also went ahead and took advantage of a weak NFC North. And this upcoming year, Caleb Williams will be the Bears quarterback. They're going to get better. The Vikings will probably take, Penix or whoever. They'll get better. And then, obviously, you're going to have the Lions continue to get better as well. I think they're going to have a tougher schedule this year, and they're also going to have a tougher NFC North. And I think that's something that is very understated. We have to keep in mind, and I'm not trying to say this to, trash Jordan Love, because Jordan Love is still a great quarterback. But you got to keep in mind that last year, there was a 4-game stretch where Jordan Love he looked like trash. He really did. And I know, it's his first time actually truly starting. It's pretty much like his rookie year. Whatever. At the end of the day, though, let's not jump it here and say, oh, yeah, he's going to be the best quarterback ever, or he's going to be a top 5 team. Let's kind of, halt the brakes a little bit.
Of hitting on draft picks. They don't miss a lot of their early picks. Now that Jordan Love's a hit, they don't miss on their top picks. I think they're really good. I think they're only getting better. They moved Bakhtiari. Aaron's now out the building for over a year. They've got it.
Ironically enough, that actually be used in both contexts, as Aaron Jones is also out of the building. So that's another thing that's going to be a problem for them.
Detroit, because Detroit's best players are older than Green Bay's. They're more established. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown. A lot of Green Bay's best players are kids. They addressed their weakness in free agency, and they went and got a corner in Carlton Davis, who I've liked for a long time. So I think Detroit, if they can get corner plugged up a little bit.
The thing about Detroit, right, is I agree. I think they're going to be a great team this year. And I think they are a great team in general. Again, they're going to struggle a little bit because the NFC North is going to get a little bit tougher. I think the NFC in general is going to get a little tougher overall-wise. I think it's still going to be easier than the AFC, but I think they're going to be tougher in general. They're a team where, everyone wants them to win. Everyone's going to root for them. But it gets to a point where they were so much the underdog for so long that now they're going to be overhyped and, number 3 on the list here. So what ends up happening is they can't live up to the hype, and then they end up falling apart. So number 2 is the 49ers, which is not surprising as they just went to the Super Bowl. And then number 1 is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm not going to play these parts because, listen, it's pretty obvious why these two teams would be top 2 teams in the league if they went to the Super Bowl last year. So it is what it is. I don't think his list is awful. I think that we should have been on the list. But listen, you want to doubt us? You want to think we can't do it? Get ready for number 9 to return. Things are going to get beautiful. Peace out.